Man, I have a million of these going here. Okay, so this has to be... okay, let's see here. This might not be it, so I'm trying to get on here. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Okay, so we're having a hard time seeing my picture-in-picture. Let me see here. Okay, let me see. I am really struggling. Now my picture-in-picture is not working. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so layouts. Left top, left bottom, right bottom. Let's try this and see if it's working. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, oh good. You can hear me. Because I can't hear me, so I'm not sure if it's working. Okay, so what we're going to do today, I'm so sorry. This is my new webcaster, and I'm still struggling with it, as you can see. Awesome. So I have my little picture-in-picture, which I'm so excited about, that you'll now be able to see how I mix colors, and it'll be a little bit more interesting for you to watch. So right now, let me see if I can adjust this so that the camera... Oh, look at this. It's starting to write on there. I don't want that. Oh, goodness. How in the world? Okay, now let me get this back to normal. Oh, no. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I don't want all that stuff on there. Ah! Well, that's lovely, isn't it? I got them lines on there I don't need. Let me see something here. Oh, goodness. All right, let's see what happens here. If I can get this back to normal. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm having issues today. So anyways, if you can give me a comment, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. So what we're going to do today, we're going to actually do a beach scene. I have a friend that requested a beach scene. So, all these things shouldn't be on here. And we're going to combine a couple photos to make one scene. So I had pulled 2 photos off of Pixabay. And I liked both of these. So I thought that maybe I could put 2 of these together and make one. Now, I love the sky here, so I want to incorporate that into my painting. And I'm just going to kind of blend these 2 and make it into one. And I think I can just put it up a little higher like this. And that would be my combo. I'm going to extend the sky over this way. I kind of like these little plants that are growing here. And I like this stump that was here. So we're just going to kind of go with the flow with this. So I usually just tape it just so I have an idea of how I'm going to do it. Oh, that tape didn't do too well here. Let's see. Let's see how I'm doing. Okay. So it's really not hard to actually do a double photo. I've done this before. I had done a commission where this person wanted her and her boyfriend and her dog in a scene where they had gone, but she gave me a photo of her boyfriend in a parking lot, her in another venue. The dog was another venue. And I had to throw all these things together to make it one painting. So you can do this. It's just, you know, you just have to see where your lines could meet and like kind of almost draw this on your own. I'm just going to tape that up there so I can have a good look at it. So I'm just going to draw this in with my little pen, my chalk pencil. I'm going to change the chalk on here because it's white and that's not going to show up for me. So I'm going to go with a little bit, let's see, a color here. Now, I like this little chalk pencil because once you start painting, you can kind of almost eliminate the color because it's chalk. Okay, my little chalk pencil. Okay, so let's see. Now here's the horizon, and it's almost in the middle, which I don't really like. So I'm going to just kind of pull it down a little bit. Like kind of divide your canvas up into thirds, which is always a good way to do this. So this is going to be my horizon, which is going to be this piece right here. Oh, you can't see that. Let me get a bigger picture here. There. So here's my horizon line. I mean, this is my beach. Well, let's see. That would be, yeah, that's my ocean sign. And I kind of missing my comments there, so I don't know if anybody's on. I'm going to see here in a minute. Let's see if I can do this. See where I'm at. Okay, there we go. I just have to get myself there to where I'm at. Okay. And, okay, can you see my picture-in-picture? Okay, no, this isn't good here. Okay, let me see here if I can find my live. So I have an idea where I'm at. Oh, here we go. Okay, now I got to turn down my volume. I have an idea where I'm at. Okay. All right. Oh, good. Thank you, Grace. This is all new to me, and oh, look at it. It's going back to this again. I don't know why that keeps happening. Okay, let's see. If I record, oh, you can see my picture-in-picture, but for some reason it shuts down here, and I don't know why that's happening. Really shouldn't. Let me see if I start to, there we go. All right. So here's my ocean line. So I'm going to come down just a little bit more and make another line here, and this is going to be my beach line. Okay. Now, my other picture, I'm going to kind of get this in here. That's part of my beach line, so I'm going to just erase this one. And it's going to come down and kind of swoop here. Or it's going to go this way. And all this here is just swooping down from like a little sand dune, it looks like to me. And then right about here, down and through here, there's like another swooping. And that's where some of my plants are going to be. If you can see that, like here, I'm going to swoop down like a little bit. So I'm just kind of drawing this free-handed, just getting some of these things in here. My basic I want to have my basic part, the sky, because I love the way the colors are in the sky. And some of the ocean, not all of it. And let's see. Now my stump is kind of crooked. And just because this is like on a perspective, this is going to be kind of closer to me. And some of this is going to swoop down too. Just kind of meet that. Okay. And then there's some plants that come along here. So maybe we'll just kind of make that a little bit longer. So you can almost erase this. This is one of the best little tools I have. It is so cool because you can erase it. It's a chalk. Actually, I think what this is used for is in sewing. The stump. Okay, and maybe we'll bring this ocean line up a little bit just for giggles. Just for giggles. We'll put this ocean line just up a little bit. I don't want to make it too much in the middle of this canvas. Now I'm using an 11 by 14 inch canvas. And there's like little plants and things like that that are growing here. There's some sort of a wire that's coming off of this little thing here that comes around like that. Let's see, there's this, and then there's some of these that come out. And then we're going to use some of these also because they're like in the foreground as well. So there's little plants that come up that way. So now what I've done, and I always do this, if you have Photoshop, now there won't be a pattern for this. If you'd like the pattern, write to me and I will see what I can do about getting a pattern for you or tracing. I always posterize my paintings because I like to see what's underneath, the color or the tones of under here, under each painting. And this is the one with the stump. I guess you can't really see the whole thing. Let's see who's all here. Oh, Gwen. Hi, Gwen. Nice to see you. So, as you can see, I've got some gray up in here. I've got some turquoise and purples. I've got some greens. This is some gray, which I'm not real thrilled with. I don't want that gray in there. So I'm going to use some of my colors from here, which you can see I've got the turquoise, I've got the purples. This is sort of like a magenta, some blues and turquoises, but they're similar. And oh, why is this doing this? I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is happening here. It shouldn't do that. Really shouldn't do that. Let's see. Let's see if it does better here with this. And, yeah, this just isn't doing what I want it to do right now. I want to kind of, now let's see if I can get it. Okay, let's see. Okay. It says it is recording, so we'll see if it is. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to use these undertones so that we can get the sky to work for us. So I'm going to start out with some purples. And I have a gray purple, which I think is a nice shade. It's almost like that one that's up there in that posterized. Okay, let me make sure I get on here. Looks like this moved a little bit, so let me see here if I can get that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start down here in this corner because I tend to get really messy as I paint. And, let's see here, I got coffee. Have a little drink here. I'm a little dry because my things aren't working the way I want them to. Okay. Let me get a small brush. So I have this one. Let's see, this is a number 6, and I think this is a flat. And it's pretty beat up, but for these, I don't really, care too much about that. Underpaintings, it can be a little rough. So I'm going to just start up here in the corner, kind of put this in. I'm going to get around my edges too. Oh, well, you know what? I have you on my computer so I can see some of the chat. Yeah, I got all kinds of devices going here. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So we're just going to have this come up this way a little bit. And my idea is like a lot more purplies. I love those colors in the skies. But if you have this underpainting, it's pretty good. I'm going to get a little water and put that in my paint here so it's not going on so dry. Get my edge. Edges are important, especially when you have a wrapped canvas. You want to get your edges. I just like to do that. I mean, I tell people that. It's up to you. A lot of people don't do the edges, but it's just nice in case you decide you don't want to frame it or something. You can at least have, the edges, completed. So my next one is a turquoise, and I have this Aqua shade. And it's a basics, bright aqua. So I'm going to put that out on my palette. Let me see here if I can get this to go down a little bit. You can see that now. Can't see it as, yeah, it's just barely holding on here, so I don't want to do too, I guess. So I'm not mixing it with anything. I'm just using my same brush and just putting a little bit in through here. And I'm going down in here. Now yesterday I wasn't able to do a live because I had to take a class for my job, a class online. There was a couple classes I wanted to take. So kind of messed me up as far as doing my live on Thursdays. But Thursday's usually the day I do this. And it's okay with that purple in there because it kind of blends with it, It just kind of goes along the edge of that purple. Kind of overlaps. Okay, now there's a bit of gray in through here. So I'm going to get my gray, and it's just a neutral gray. And I use a lot of the Master's Touch. I like their thick body acrylic. It just, I don't know, I just think it works out better for me instead of their regular paint. This gray. Now, I could probably lighten that up a little bit with some white. So, let me get some white. Let's see if I can open this one. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna pull some out of here. It's this is Basics Liquitex Titanium White. I have it in a jar. When I used to teach classes, I bought a bunch of this. So let's see if I can get that better. Okay. So I bought it in these little jars, and it made life a little easier. So I'm going to pull out some white, as you can see, and mix a little bit of this gray, because I want this to be a lighter gray, not real dark. That's too dark. Mix a little bit more white in here, because you know acrylics always dry darker. Yeah, I wonder why you can't see the chat with this. I mean, it does just about everything else. It's kind of interesting that you can't see the chat. It's weird. Okay, that's better. That's much better. So my doggie's with me too today. She's behind my backdrop here. She's sleeping. When I'm home, she's always with me if I'm not working. One of these days I'm going to actually retire, but I don't know when. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then I retire, and then I decide, well, I better go back to work. I mean, I'm not doing what I originally did. Well, this is I think I've told everybody this, that I am doing my first profession, which is stylist, hairstylist. But I cut men's hair. I now cut men's hair. And it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Get a little bit more of this blue here, because it comes down sort of through here and in here. This doesn't have to be exact. It's just kind of like a little map, you know, for you to follow. But I always like doing this. So now I am going to rinse my brush now, because I don't want to have this mixed up with my color that I'm going to make now. I'm going to use Quinacridone Magenta. Oh, let's see. I'll put it over here. You can see. Oh, this is a brand new tube, so I have to take off the little. And I'm going to mix that with white, a little bit of white. Just going to pull this over here, just because this is pretty strong. Okay, we want a pink area here. I think this is pretty good, actually, this pink. Let's see. That could be a little darker, just a tad more of this. Yeah, that's nice. And I'm just going to put a tad bit of gray in here, just to kind of gray it down a little bit. Just a little. Okay, so I'm going to get my brush. And it's okay if it's still wet. And I am going to tap in a little bit of pink in there. I'm going to leave a little space there because right in here is the moon, or the sun, I'm sorry. We're going to make it the sun, like a sunrise. And then right about here, I'm going to make another little area of pink. Okay, and let me rinse this on again. Okay, towel. Okay, now I'm going to go straight in with that red, magenta. And we're going to put some of that in here. It's going to come down over this. Over through here. Okay, and it kind of splits up a little bit in through here. And underneath. Now I can scrub this in because this brush is not a really good brush. If it was my good brushes, I wouldn't be using that for this. So you want to use kind of like an older brush. You don't want to use something that's... Okay, so I'm going to use some of my gray. I'm not washing off my brush. I'm kind of just going back in here to get that in there. Just coming around. And it's okay if that pink kind of blends in with this. That's what makes this work. You know, you're blending it even now. Because that's a very strong magenta. Very strong. Okay, so now we're going to get some more gray in below here. Just a little bit. Because now as I'm getting closer to the ocean, it's getting more blue. So we're going to be adding more blue to this. And more purple. So I'm going into my violet. Just kind of going with this. Just lightly. And my turquoise. I'm going to lighten my turquoise up a bit. I have to get more white on my palette. I'm going to just use this out of the, if I can get it out. I'm pretty much out of this. If I tip this over, if it'll help it to get its way down there. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of my white. And I know you can't see this because I'm doing this in the corner. But this is just a little lighter. here. Get it on my sides. Okay, and it's going to be very deep into the ocean here, so I am going to get just the actual shade, get this ocean in here. And one of the things I was taught when I was in college about oceans, they're usually deeper at the horizon. The shade is deeper. I mean, it's not deeper at the horizon, it's lighter. And then as you move forward, it gets a little darker, which is kind of the opposite in the way you think. So, that's just a little... So it's deeper as you get towards the sand. So as I get towards the sand, it's going to get deeper blue. But it's going to have that aqua shade there. Okay, now I'm going to put my purpley in, so I'm going to lighten up some of this purple. So I'm just adding some white to it. Because this here section, it's getting lighter as it gets down towards the ocean. It's not as dark as up in there. You could overlap them because it kind of blends it better. Even though this picture shows it as a blue, the under base of this painting is purple. Kind of an interesting little twist, huh? Little interesting twist. So if you blend all this, it kind of helps when you're painting over it, you know. Okay, so right in this section right here, that blue continues on down. Now it looks like it's a little, well, it isn't darker, it's lighter. So let me get that lighter a little bit more, because I don't want it to be like the ocean. Okay. So do you have any questions right now so far? Because this is going to start to have to dry a little bit just before I go into painting it. Okay. Now, some of this area in through here, even though it's going to be brown, it has some green and gray undertones in there. So, now I can make the beach lighter or I can make it darker. But I think since most of my picture or my painting is going to be this beach part here, I'm going to make all this a little darker. So, we're going to go into my gray, just pure gray. And no questions? Nobody has any questions? We're all good? All right. So you guys, whoever's on here, I guess Gwen, I don't know if you've ever watched Anthony Grayscale, Anthony Gray. I love some of his flowers. Now, he uses a glycerin. Now, I haven't tried that yet. I'm a little nerved about it. I guess I have to watch him a little bit more, but it seems to make that paint flow nicer. I just kind of use the water, but I'm just going to paint all this here gray, and it sort of has that greenish tone to it, but I'm going to put some green in here also. Now the perfect shade here would be the oxide green to add in here. Try to find that. I have to do something with my paints because I have a hard time finding things. I have them in a drawer, and I try to get all my colors out the day before, but sometimes I don't get them all out there. So I'm going to make sort of like an oxide green, if I can. So I have this Hooker's green, and I have raw burnt umber. Put that out. Now there's something about this burnt umber from Grumbacher. It will dry out so fast. So you really have to be careful with that. So I'm going to mix some of my green with a touch of that umber to kind of get that darker green. And I'm just going to add a touch of white just to lighten it up a bit. This is sort of like that oxide color. Could probably use a little yellow in there, but I think that Hooker's green has some. And now I'm mixing it with my brush. Probably not the best idea. But I'm just going to come in here in certain spots here and just lay out some of this color here. And it's not that much, you know, it's just some. And this here, it's in through here a bit, this green. Around here. You'd never think that all these shades were underneath the painting. It's kind of interesting how it works. I'm going to add a little bit here. It's mostly gray in this area here. Just tap a few little pieces there. Okay. I'm going to go into my red. Whoops, there goes some of my paints on the ground. Okay, let's see here now. We had a little bit of pink in through here. It's okay if some of that, these complement each other, so it's okay if some of that pink is in here with the green. There's just a tad of pink on this stump also. Just gonna get some of that on there. Just okay, now we have some really dark, sort of a dark gray. So I'm gonna get my gray and add a little bit of my umber. Kind of give it that extra depth. Actually, I like the way this is coming here. add some green. I want it nice and dark. Nice dark green. And I'll get some of that up in here. Add some of that right around his stump. And it actually, there is a shadowy effect here. It's dark. Then we go into some lighter green. Okay. And some grays. Some grays in here. This gray seems to have a little bit of greenish tone to it, you know, so just blend it in there. And get a little bit more of that pink. Just put some of that in there too. Which is right in there. And there's a lot more green over here, so I'm just gonna kind of get that green in there. And I have, it's got to be a yellow green, so I've got to find my yellow green, and I will be right over there in a minute. As soon as I can find it. Well, I can just use some yellow and mix my own yellow green. We got to get that yellow in that sky too a little bit, so for the sun. Okay. Scoop out some more white here. This almost looks like a paint by number, doesn't it? Kind of looks paint by numberish. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, add some of the green, and add some white. So we get this yellowy green color. It kind of goes around, it kind of hits this piece right here. And here. And I'm going to get my pink, put the rest of that in here. Just blend it up with that yellow. Get a little orangish mix here for down in here. This right about here. We're going to have some of that. Okay. Now, I switched over to the other painting because I wanted to get this stump and what was around it. So I kind of switched over to that other picture in order to get this the way I wanted it. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Oh, let me get that sun in there. Okay, so I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow, just straight yellow. Get it off my tube here. Some white. And just put that sun in. It's almost white. And I'll probably make it more white as I go. Just kind of getting it in there. Okay. As far as the other pieces that are in here, such as the greenery, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay. Okay, so let's see how we can start. I'm going to work my way down. I'm going to start from the top. Now in the picture, the top is more like a grayish blue. So, as you can see, I'm starting to run out of spots for my, because I get so messy. All my paints, I just stick them where I want. Okay. Let's see if I can get that closer. Yeah, it's pretty good, I guess. My table isn't quite as sturdy for that camera down here. All right, so I'm going to mix like a grayish blue. I'm going to get my gray. And I'm going to get some Cerulean Blue. Put that out. Okay. Add a little bit of that blue, and I'm just going to keep going until I get a consistency like I want. Then I'm going to add some white. And a little bit more of the blue. That's pretty good. All right, let me wipe off some of this paint on my brush. Okay, so I just kind of matched it with my painting. I'm going to print out. So you kind of want to go lightly because you want to see those shades coming through, you know, that we painted underneath that. And because it just makes it look so much nicer, you know. If you can see those shades under there. So I'm kind of almost dry brushing this. And I'm still using that same number 6. I'm not changing because I'm kind of scrubbing this in, so I don't want that to ruin any of my brushes since I'm doing this scrub. I wonder if anybody's still here or watching. Let me know if you are so I can see who's here. Okay, thanks, Grayscale. You're still hanging in. That's good. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to drag this a little bit further on down, almost to the sun. So we're going to just keep going here with this, just kind of pushing it in. And if you can see this, you can see that actually some of those shades are popping through. I don't know if you can tell. Right here on my screen that I'm using, my monitor, it's kind of hard to tell. And as soon as I can, I'm going to get this right. You can see the whole palette. Oh, you don't want to see that mess. But hopefully that's a little bit better. Yeah, so you can like kind of see some of those shades coming through. And that's what we want. We want that color. Because the sky, if you look at the sky, you know, there's a lot of different shades up there in the sky. Okay, and then right in here, I'm going to get some pink. Just some pink. And I'm not rinsing off my brush. Just going into my pink and a little white. Just a tad of white on the edge. So I kind of have my brush like that. Oh, you can't, I don't know if you can see that. But right up in here, there's some of that pink. And even in here, it's just kind of like wispinesses. They're just wisps of pink and light. This is the lightness that's coming through. And it's coming on an angle here. And if you can see, I'm just using that brush to get like some of that wispiness in there. And it gets really light in through here with the pinks. So I'm going to add a little bit more white to my paintbrush. Get more of my pink, more of my white, more of my pink. And just kind of like put that in there very easily because it's just like drifting in. It's just drifting in. And it's very light in comparison to what I have here. Very light in through here. These are just clouds. They're just lighter shades of clouds, and we want to get some of that coming down. Just kind of like dry brushing it down, and then it'll come into the pink area. And you can still see some of that turquoise coming through. That's what I like. So I'm going to get some of my my blue gray and kind of just go through here a little bit more. And there is a little bit of that in there, like right in here. So I want kind of like that in there. And I'm going to want to make a really light, I'm going to get a smaller brush here for this. I'm going to make my sun very bright, and it has to get in there. So I'm going to use a little round brush. This is a number 4 round. All right, let's see. And get real bright sun. Almost as white. And I think this will work. Just blend it out a little bit with my fingers. To soften it. Okay. All right. So some of this blue is coming in here. Very gray. Because this is probably, I'm thinking this might be a sunset. I'm not sure. Sometimes the sun can make it look both ways, you know. Okay, so I'm going to grab some more of my pink. Didn't rinse off my brush. And I'm going to add a touch of purple to it. Just a touch purple. Because some of this is sort of like underneath here, it's kind of more grayish, purpley colors. Oops, I want that on there. But there is some light to it, and we'll add that in there. But as we go through here, it's a very deepish, grayish pink. And then it gets a little lighter, so I'm going to add some white to it. Gets a little lighter on top here. This kind of goes over the sun a bit, just a little bit. Some of that. Okay, let me get some more of the white. Ooh, that's more gray. That's all right though, because we need some of that in there, actually. But the sun is kind of like highlighting some of this, and they're very, they're not billowy clouds, so you have to kind of like get this lightness up on the top and through here, and then it gets a little darker as it goes down in through here. I'm just going to soften it a little bit. More of that grayish blue in through there. Right in through here, we're going to get that kind of like the grayish blue shade. And those undertones are just popping through, which makes this even look nicer. It just really makes a difference. So it's amazing. All right. So now this is a real bright pink. So I'm going to rinse out my brush, make sure it's clean. And I'm going to pick up some white and my pink. And I am going to mix this. Well, it could be a little bit darker. Okay, let's just get those little clouds in here. And I'm just tapping these in. I'm just going to tap them in. There's just clouds right there, and then they kind of billow out again, straighten out. them come over here. Just, it's okay if you put it into the little stump there. Okay, we'll grab some more of that pink. And it kind of just goes into that purpley shade. I want some of that bright magenta to show through there. I'm going to grab some of my blue. My gray blue. Kind of make this in through here. It starts to get purpley. I'm going to just soften underneath here. Okay, let me get some more of the lighter shade and rinse out my brush. And I'm going to top these off again, just because these are kind of where the sun is shining on. So it's going to be lighter in here because it's the sun hitting that. So we want to kind of have that. And actually, I mean, I could probably use a little bit of the yellow. Have some of that in there too. Just kind of making it lighter, more billowy, because that's from the sun. And then just soften it out. Now I'm not going to put any more of that blue color in because I don't want this to turn green. So I'm just going to kind of blend that out a little bit. Have that dark. Now I can go into my bluish gray. Right in through here. Want that to be a little bit more grayish blue. There's just a little teeny weeny bit of purple that shows through, but then this is kind of very light over here, so I'm going to get some of my white and put that into my gray blue shade here. Gets a little bit light through here. Right in through here. So now this is going to get very pale blue. So I am going to put out my Cerulean Blue, which I have out. I'm going to get that. And I'm going to mix a lot of white with it. Over in here. Because as it gets closer to the ocean, it becomes more blue. So I want that to be a bluish shade. Now, I don't know if this is going to be too light. Yep, too light, too light, too light. Maybe a touch of purple in there too. Just to give it a nice, yeah, that looks nice. I like that shade. Still a little light. See, I'm just mixing some of that up into that gray. Letting some of that purpley color show through. With that underpainting like that, it really makes things a lot easier for me. And it probably would help you too, because it's something that it helps to make it work. I mean, it's a different way of doing an underpainting. It's just different. Now, when I do pastel work, if I do pastel work, I do the same thing. I'll get that underpainting under there, and it really changes the dynamics of your painting. It just makes such a difference. I want to get a little bit more deeper purple in here, because I kind of lost some of that in here with my gray, my blue gray. There we go. So I'm hoping everyone's doing okay with this doggone virus. It's just, I've been around people too, and it just has me so worked up right now because doing hair, people don't realize, I think, sometimes the problems that can happen when you're older, or they don't care, I guess. Basically, it's just they don't care. Their hair is more important than anything. And there's two people that I was around that ended up getting the virus. And they had it before they came to see me or came into our shop. And I don't understand it. Look at how pretty that looks. That really looks nice. Okay, I'm going to get some of this white and put it into my pink again, because I just want this lightness. And I'm using my number 6 round here. I just want some of this to like really pop here. So I'm just tapping this in, letting some of that yellow show. Because this is the only place, and then there's some of that up in here. So I'm just going to kind of, with my brush, kind of sweep it in there. Just blend it with my finger. And some of it in here also. Just comes over that sun a little bit. Nothing too harsh, just a little bit. Up in here too. Just a few of those little clouds that are in that area. Okay. Okay, let me get some purple on my little round brush, and I'm just going to put a few little drifting purpley clouds here. Get a little bit wetter here. It's a little hot in my studio. So there. Okay. put some more pink on that because it's just a little bit, well, maybe I can work it out with this. There we go. I don't like that dryness look there for this. All right, so let me have a little swig of something to drink. Right now, on my monitor, it looks really bright, but on my computer screen, it looks great. It looks very nice. Okay. So, this is pretty deep here, in through this area right here. It's going to be deep. So I am going to use some, let's see, Colbalt Teal. Just straight out cerulean. Just going to use cerulean. Oops, there goes my, right up here. Now it's got to be lighter and darker here. So let me just make this darker. And let me get some water on my brush. Kind of just make like a glaze here. Okay, and now I'm going to get some of my white. And I have some Colbalt Teal. I'm going to try this. It's by Master's Touch. It's a thick body. The thick body is much better than the other. This is brand new too. It just, I think this is more like my, well, it's got more of a bluish color to it. So we're going to use that. With some white. There we go. Just blend it in. I want some of that purple in here too because we're trying to reflect some of that sky too in our painting. So I'm going to get a touch of purple, just a little bit, and add it in through here. Now I know this seems real weird because I'm putting it darker up front. And I had a heck of a time when I was painting in college trying to get that in my head that it's darker. And I could not get that for the life of me. I was having such a struggle with it because your mind tells you one thing, you know, and your actual sight of this, you know, is probably different also. So it's something you got to get used to. Definitely get used to it. But I got some of that purple in there that kind of just makes that nice. Now I want to put a little whitish colors in there because we got some ripples coming. So I think that with this blue, I can actually hit that like purpley. We'll just hit this beach. And this dunes, this here is like not even near this. So just tap it, you know, as you get further back, the ripples are going to be less. You're going to just see some contrast here. Nothing major. Back in the back here. Just kind of blend it out a little bit. It just gets more, it's just more towards the front that these waves are coming in. Okay, now I kind of want to just get that lighter bit in there a little better. Right in here. I want it to meet the sky. There we go. Okay. All right, so now we're going to mix up our sand shade. Okay, so it looks like it's darker in through here, but on my other painting it's a lot lighter, or my other picture. So I'm going to make it a little bit of light. This front part here is going to be darker. I'm going to make this lighter. How's that? So I'm going to get my raw sienna and also Master's Touch raw sienna. I'm running out of room on my palette here. Is my ocean straight? Maybe it's not, huh? Let me get that straighter. It's sometimes hard when you're painting sideways, that hard to see if things are straight or not. This almost matches coming down in here. But I want to show that there's some sort of a division here. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get this mixed up here. Okay, we're going to grab some of my raw sienna, and I'm going to mix it up with some white. We want sand, sandy look. A lot of times I just mix my paints with my brush. Oh, it keeps turning. I'm sorry. Let's see if you can get, there we go. So, like I said, I'm running out of space here. Okay, so we're going to do this part light. We're going to have some dark shades in here also. Just going to start with this base here. And because this is like up higher, it's actually further away. you know, because it's a little further away from the actual beach area. So I'm going to grab some of my burnt umber. Just kind of push a little darkness right up front here. A little darker over here. A little bit darker in through here. Definitely dark in here. Okay. I'm gonna mix a little white into that also because I think I don't know if I like the color of this beach. You can make it a little grayer looking. I mean, it definitely needs to have some of that lighter in there, and we're going to work that in. Just to get some of that nice, there's that yellow undertone in there, makes it really pop. And this pink kind of gives it a variation of shades in here. And that's cool. That's very neat. These are just little bumps in the sand that are dark. They have like little things growing out of them. Get some of that raw sienna, just kind of like tapping that in here too, because this has a little bit of that in there. Okay, get some more of the burnt umber. Just kind of graying it. A lot of times you can just tap to get some texture, you know. You don't necessarily have to use your, just different shades in here, you know. That's what makes this so cool. Okay, I'm gonna get that line back in here again. Lost it. And here, kind of get that in there. Back to this. I'll add some of the dark also in here. See how this looks in here. It's gray because this comes further back. It's behind everything. We're going to add a little white, lighter gray here, a little light gray, just to kind of give some peaks to this. Right in here. Well, that might be a little too light. Too light. We just need to have some gray, I guess. Tapping it in. Tapping this all in. This is like in shadow. Kind of light over here. Make it a little lighter. And in here, it's more of this raw sienna. Comes down in here. You could actually add some of that in here too. Just kind of dry brush it along here. Give it a little texture. So it kind of brings that together with the behind there. What's behind. Okay. Alright, so now let's do our stump. Now our stump is pretty dark. So I am definitely going to use my burnt umber for that. And I'm thinking I'm going to get another brush because I need something that's going to come to a decent point so I can get the side of this. So I'm going to use this brush here. It's a number 6 filbert. And I'm just going straight into my umber. And I think I'm going to just add a touch of water to it because it's kind of dry. Okay. And got it to a pretty good point. Okay, so we're just going to come up here. Come down. Now with what's here, I can get a really nice, that green that's in here, and I mean it'll give me a nice, there's some dark here, so I'm gonna get that in there too. Now that I see that, I'm gonna, because there's like little plants that are here. Right in here, it's very, very dark. And then I'm going to get some white area on my brush. Kind of just tap in there with some of that green in there. here a little bit more. Okay, and this is real bright in through here because the sun is coming up. So I'm going to add more white to this. I'll probably even go lighter once this kind of does what I want it to do. Get this a little bit more here. Because it's wet, I'm going to have to come back to it because we're just getting the beginnings here of this stump. Get my little, let that little round brush go. Definitely darker here, definitely darker. Little pieces that are sticking out there. Alright, so now we're going to get some white. And I'm just going straight white into this because it already has the paint. It's very wet. To be light here. Okay, that looks good. A couple more pieces of little whites here. They're just little dabs of light here and there, but because I'm putting it on white, I mean dark, it's actually going to give me that mixture that I'm looking for. Here we want this nice and light. There we go. All right. So now we're going to add some of this greenery and all that. So I'm going to need a nice little tiny little brush. Once I find one, a detail brush, I'm going to need that. Let's see. I should have quite a few, and every time I look for a detail brush, I can never ever find it. Oh, here we go. This is a good one here. Okay, so this is a detail brush. This is a number 1 script liner, and this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to make my brown very, very wet, ink-like, very ink-like, and we're going to put some of these little things in here. So I'm going to hold it back here so that I can work with it. It's better if you hold it further back. It works better for you. You don't want to hold it up here. You don't want to be able to control it. In other words, you want it to have that ability to make this, these little things go, you know. I'm going to go in different directions. These are just little grasses that grow along the beach sometimes. In areas, I guess, that people don't sit at. I'm going to get this around here a little bit more. Come around. And you can add some of the raw sienna in here too. However, you know, just give it a little bit of different colors. I think that needs a little wetness also. Okay. That nice and rounded there. Let's give it a couple little different shades. Alright, so we're going to get some of these in now. I'm going to tap some of this in with a nice little tinier brush, because some of these are a little bit dark. So I'm going to get more of my raw umber out. And I'm going to just get a smaller, let's see, if I can find something. Ooh, I got enough noise, huh? Maybe I'll use a round brush. I'll see if I can tap it in with that. This is a Simply Simmons round. I can't make out if this is a number 1. It might be a number 1 round. I'm going to tap that in. And because I'm tapping it in, I'm not going to thin it down. Only when I use my script liner, I'll thin it. So, got some bushes that are coming out here. And I'm just starting out with my brown, tapping this in. And then I will actually get more of the green in here also. And it's not a lot that I'm putting in here. It's just here and there that I'm putting those little, just tapping it, letting the sand show through. And it seems like it's right along the edge of this. Now I'm going to go to my green, get some of that along with this, and tap some of that in there also, because there is green in through here. I'm not sure I really like the way that looks. Okay, well, because these are coming up, well, you know what, I'm just going to keep going with it. just around this edge here. There's a lot that are going. So you want to kind of have them go in different directions, but it looks like they're going this way for some reason, and those other ones are going the other way. So I want to kind of keep it as like that they're all going the same way. So I'm mixing the brown and the green together on my brush. And I'm just pushing it in, pushing it all in. Kind of gives it a little bit more of a interesting, instead of it just being pure brown. I think that kind of makes it look a little bit better, the green and the brown together. Okay, now let's see here, does that. Just putting in some little, they almost look like little trees. Just tapping them in lightly. And there's like little. Okay, now with my script liner, I am going back in that brown, kind of doing some of these here, little coming off of these things. And there's quite a bit of these on the beach for some reason. Right in here. For some reason I lost my chat. Huh, interesting. Interesting. To get a couple of these little long things going here too, and there's some short ones also, just a bunch of little pieces here. Let me see here, little green stuff. stuff here with some of this. Okay, so let's see if I can get some little curves here. Some of these. Oh, yeah, there we go. So, a couple little ones that come up here. All right, and some of these also. So I gotta kind of tap in. Now I'm gonna get close with this because I gotta tap these in here. Just a few. I'm still using that script liner. And we're going to put some on some of these other things here. Let's see. Okay. And let's see. Right here. There is some little light going through here, so I'm going to get some of my lighter shade here. Just kind of giving a little bit. And this one also. Just get a little light in there. Just kind of give it a little light. Okay. Put some more of these in. Yeah, there's quite a few of these. Along the beach. I guess this is normal, huh? I don't know what these are called. Does anyone know what these are called? Let me see if I can get my chat back so I can see what's going on. I don't know if anybody's here. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Grayscale. I don't know what happened. It, like, all of a sudden, set display mode off from the camera settings. Display mode. I don't know how to do that. Unfortunately, I don't know how to stop my display mode. Is that in the settings with the webcaster? That might be the reason. If it's in that, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm learning with this, so I'll have to check and see if I can get that display off. Okay, I'm going to get some little holes in this thing here, because this kind of looks like a big pile of whatever. And it's actually some of these, whatever these are on the beach here, it's part of that. Okay. So some little things going here. A little bit more of these little twigs going. Okay. Because this whole line is a bunch of twiggy things. Okay, we're going to put some of that in here. And there's just a couple of these that are coming up here. We're kind of close. Put that on top of that one. We're almost done. Now I'm going to actually put some stones in here too. I think that will kind of really make that work. Sorry that this is still not showing my Okay, so I am going to get a bristle brush and I'm going to wet my umber a little bit. Tap it, try to get this kind of wet. I can just kind of tap that in there since it's darker. There we go. Along that beach area there. It's like the division of it all. I'm going to wet this a little bit. See if I can get some pebbles in here. Little pebbles. There we go. Little stones. I'll also put some light ones in. Okay, rinse that out. Some lighter ones. Oop. This might not be too wet. Okay, let's see here. Okay. So what I want to do here is, I don't like the way that is, so I'm going to kind of smooth it out a bit. Just kind of smooth this a little bit. Too light. Too light. Okay. I'm going to put some lighter rocks in there. Little pebbles, just little pebbles. We're going to go with the gray here, I think. Gray. Since this is the closest part to us, just have some beach pebbles. And I'm just using my index finger here with a wet, nice wet brush. Okay. All right. And I think we have our painting. It's done. Looks pretty good. I think I like it. I'm gonna probably sign it once it dries and everything. But hope you enjoyed this today. Thank you, Grayscale, for staying here, and I hope Gwen is still here. So I have to. Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, as long as you can see it, Grayscale, you're back and forth, that's fine. And oh, I know one thing I didn't put in here. This is important. Okay. There's just this little, and I don't know if I want to use that. That's too big. Let me get this one. See if I can put this in here. This was like a real part of the picture here that I just got to get this in. There was some stuff that came off of this also. Let's see. Comes off of this. Okay. Let me get that again. Okay. And it came around up here. Around and went like that, which is a little thicker than I wanted it to go, but since it did go thicker right here and right in here, we can get that like a rope or something. And there we go, like a big S. Let's see what that is. Oh, it actually kind of went a little differently, but that's okay. I'll just get some nice little, more little things in here. Oh. Okay, so that's my blotter. I don't know what's going on here. All right, and I think we have it. That's it. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Bye. Bye. I'm still painting. All right, I'm just finishing.
You said you'd be done.
What time is it?
It's after